Welcome back to the Grind, Sleep, Repeat podcast. On today's episode, we are going to talk about if it's possible, if you can target stubborn body fat in specific areas.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about how to lose that last little bit of body fat. A lot of times people are thinking of summer's coming up, they want to lose weight, they get off to a great start, and then they struggle just to kind of lose that last little bit of body fat. So we're going to give you our tips around nutrition, around training, and talk about how to really structure things to lose that last little bit of stubborn body fats and just feel your best and most confident this summer.
Yeah, for sure. I think some people, when they think of weight loss, they have a specific area where they're like, I really want to lose weight in my stomach or really want to lose weight in my legs. And it gets frustrating when the weight starts coming off in different places and you're like, wait a minute, that wasn't where I wanted to lose the weight. I wanted to lose it here. And, people ask me, what exercise can I do to, make this arm fat on my arms go away? And the answer is there's not a specific exercise that you can do to lose weight in a specific area. It's about dialing in these 3 tips that we're going to share with you today.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the biggest myths that, a lot of times people put out just misinformation in the fitness industry of do these 5 exercises to target your stubborn belly fat. If someone is telling you that you can target stubborn body fat and spot reduce, they're full of shit. You can't do that. What's going to determine where you store and where you lose your body fat is your genetics. And I know that's maybe not the answer that you want to hear, but it is the truth. And the best approach overall, if you have a lot of stomach fat or you have a lot of fat on your legs or maybe your hips, your sides, the best strategy is to overall reduce your body fat. And you're going to notice that you lose body fat in those stubborn areas, but you cannot spot reduce. As much as I wish that I could say you could, and I could give you a reason or I could give you a method to do so, you can't spot reduce. Like I said, the best approach overall is to lose body fat. But one thing that can also help is building muscle. A lot of times people say like, I want to tone this certain area. There's no such thing as toning. You're just building muscle, and the more body fat that you can strip away and the more muscle that you can build, you're going to notice that those certain areas that maybe you struggle with are tighter, they're more firm, maybe they have more definition because you're getting rid of body fat that's covering up the muscle. And as you build muscle through some things that we'll talk about today, it's going to appear different and you're going to see those positive body composition changes that you want to see.
Yeah, the first thing that comes to mind for me specifically is going into the background, having the background of a bikini competitor and getting to this extremely low level of body fat percentage and level of leanness. You get to a point where you can see every ounce of fat on your body because you are so lean everywhere else. So then those specific areas that you're like, okay, this is definitely where I store my weight, which for me was in my legs. And I can just tell you that in order for me to lose that specific spot, I had to get down to like 10% body fat to feel good and feel confident to go on stage. Now, that's not healthy. That's not maintainable. And that's why today we're going to talk about, some things that you can do to help you with these stubborn areas, but also keeping in mind that we got to have some body fat percentage on us. We got to have some body fat on us, especially as women. We tend to carry more body fat than men because of hormone things and such. We're designed to carry babies. So it's important to keep that in mind and not be so hard on yourself, because I am guilty of that personally. So just keep that in mind. But the first tip that we're going to dive into is the most obvious thing, which is going to be the nutrition side of things. So if you want to go ahead and start with a few pointers on how we can, spot reduce using the nutrition side of things.
Yeah. So overall, basic energy balance. You need to be in a caloric deficit to lose body fat. And a story I can tell you guys, I just met with a lady this morning, new to the gym. We were doing a consult and she'd lost a lot of weight initially, but she's at a plateau. And we took a look at her macros and her calories, and she was way under eating. Like, she was definitely in a caloric deficit, but she was not eating enough food. She was eating too close to her basal metabolic rate. And what was happening is she wasn't losing any weight. She hit a stalling point, and when you're under eating too much, what happens is your body's going to be so resistant to change, and you're not going to lose any body fat. Your body's going to be willing to get rid of muscle mass, and you're just going to get frustrated. So when I say caloric deficit, it doesn't mean that you eat nothing. You need to be eating enough food to fuel your body, to have good workouts, have good energy, but you need to be in that sweet spot of like, we don't want to eat more food than we're burning, more calories than we're burning. We don't want to eat too little. You need to be right in that sweet spot. We can give some more tips on nutrition. Obviously, this is going to be a general approach because everybody listening at home today is going to be different with their caloric needs. But if you do have questions on macros, we have a link on our website. The link is down below in the comments where you can go click on that link. You can fill out a form. We'll actually do a free macro calculation. This might not be the perfect place, but it's going to be a great place to start. And we can give you your carbs, your fat, your protein, and give you a good idea of how you should be structuring your macros and your diet, because it will go a long way to make sure that you're not under eating and also make sure that you're not overeating. So when you're done listening to the podcast, definitely go click on that link down in the comments, and we'll give you a great place to start with your macros.
Yeah, and keeping in mind too that when we are in that caloric deficit for weight loss, we're not in that deficit for an extended period of time, which I see a lot of that too with clients. And then what happens when we do that is it's the same thing as eating too low of calories. We're basically starving our body for too long, but also causing the body to want to store fat and hold on to body fat. And then that's where we kind of get this like plateau. So keep the fat loss phases short and go back into maintenance and then go back into that fat loss phase. If you have a big fat loss goal, you shouldn't go in saying, okay, I'm going to lose 100 pounds in this 8-week short deficit. You have to be patient with the process. It's a process. You didn't gain that 100 pounds overnight. It takes a long time to gain that weight. Maybe not as much time, but it takes a long time to lose that weight too. So to lose it in a healthy way and not a quick way, that's going to help you keep that weight off too. It's more effective if you do that in phases.
Yeah, I think, as a coach, when we make plans for people, both, our one-on-one clients and our online training clients that we coach, we'll use periodization. Like, we're not spending the rest of our life in a caloric deficit, no matter what your goal is. Or if you're looking to gain weight, we're not going to spend the rest of our life in a caloric surplus. Like, you have to chunk it into phases. And like Alyssa was mentioning, maybe, like 8, 12, maybe 16 weeks. Okay, these next 16 weeks, I'm going to really focus on dialing in my nutrition, dialing in my workouts. I'm going to be in a deficit. And then maybe for a couple weeks, I'm going to bring my calories back up to maintenance. That's really what we provide, that structure for our clients, to help them do that in a structured approach. Because just like anything else, like if I am doing my own taxes, or if I'm working on filling out forms and creating forms and I'm not a lawyer, I'm not going to know what to do. So having a professional by your side is going to help you take out the guesswork of what you're doing. That's really what we aim to provide with all of our clients that we train. Another thing that you mentioned that I wanted to touch on that was a good point is the slower that you lose the weight, the more likely you're going to be able to keep it off.
Yeah.
The people that lose 20 pounds in 4 weeks type of thing, a lot of it's probably going to be muscle mass. A lot of it's probably going to be water and carbs in your muscle. It's not real weight. I call it fluff weight. And the percentage of body fat that you're losing is probably not that significant. And you're just going to put it right back on. Our approach may not be the fastest, quickest way to lose weight, but it is the healthiest, the most realistic, and the most sustainable way. So the slower you can lose that weight, the more it's going to stay off. And what I really try and urge people to do is try and think of this as a healthy lifestyle, because every summer, if it rolls around, you're like, I got to spend 8 weeks of trying to get in the best shape of my life because I want to be lean, I want to be shredded, rather than just practicing this as a healthy lifestyle, you're not going to have to go through that 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 weeks of agony. So do it once, do it the right way, and you're going to be able to just sustain this as a healthy lifestyle.
Yeah, for sure. Let's stay away from less of that like yo-yo-y
Yes.
dieting. And just to clarify too, from back to what our topic was about, which was, losing that stubborn body fat, targeting that specific, area that is maybe stubborn. So I can promise you guys that if you do this short, quick diet approach, the body that you're going to see, the body that you're going to get from that quick diet is not the body that I promise you're envisioning. It's a process. It doesn't happen overnight. That quick weight loss is gonna make you feel that skinny fat, and you're gonna lose muscle mass, you're gonna lose, like you said, water weight, inflammation, all that stuff's gonna feel great, but losing that muscle mass is not gonna make these targeted, stubborn areas look any better. The part that's gonna make those areas look and feel better is incorporating our 3rd tip, which is strength training.
Yes, strength training is huge, and it's obviously going to change the shape of your body. It's going to change how you visually look in a mirror because you're building muscle mass. And that is one thing that can really help, especially if you're somebody that, sometimes people come to me and like, I want abs and I want to do all these exercises to develop my abs. And yes, your abdominal muscles, they're a muscle just like anything else. You need to strengthen them. You need to train them. You can build them as a muscle. Obviously, it's not like, a leg muscle or bicep or lat muscle that's really going to have a lot of hypertrophy, but you still should train them and you still should try and get stronger. But the biggest thing is reducing the body fat because everybody's genetics is very different. For me, I tend to store when I gain body fat, it's in my neck and in my stomach. I really don't store a lot of other places. And for me, like, I can't change that. That's my genetics. But I know that if I want my abs to show, I need to, yes, focus on strength training. That's, a non-negotiable all the time, but I just overall need to reduce body fat. And that's going to help me lose body fat in my stomach. But the strength training is such an important piece and it really can do a lot for your metabolism as well. Kind of let Alyssa take that topic and go with that because strength training may not be the first thing that you think of when you're trying to lose weight, but it is definitely going to help. And it's definitely going to help your metabolism in the long run.
Yeah, the more active we are, obviously, the more calories that our body needs. So adding in that strength training, our bodies are going to be burning more calories, but also building muscle takes a lot more energy to hold on to. So therefore, if you're not eating enough, you're not going to be gaining muscle. So making sure, back to kind of what you were talking about in the beginning, making sure you're eating enough, getting in enough protein to build muscle and maintain muscle so that we can get that overall look that we're, focusing on getting. When it comes to fat loss, obviously it does come to appearance, how we feel, how we see ourselves in the mirror. And I know when people say that toned look that they're trying to get, I know exactly what they're talking about. It's building muscle.
Yeah. Overall, it's just going to help. Like we said, the more muscle mass you have, the more calories you're going to burn at rest. And although that might not help you right now, long term, it's going to help you see more progress because you're burning more calories. You're going to create more of a caloric deficit by burning more calories through extra muscle. And then once you reach your goal, the more muscle you can have, it's going to be so much easier to sustain that goal and have what's called metabolic flexibility, meaning that you can increase your calories and still stay at the same body fat. Obviously, you can't go crazy with it. You can't be in a caloric surplus and eat everything in sight and think that you're just going to maintain your progress. That's not going to happen. But building more muscle is super important. It's a huge piece that every single client that we train needs to be doing some sort of strength training. And the biggest piece that you have to focus on, strength training is good, but progressive overload with your strength training is really the most important part that we need to focus on. You can't just come to the gym and do the same workout every single time, the same weights, the same reps. Yes, that's good. Yes, you're going to burn calories, but your muscle is not challenged and therefore it's not going to change in any way, shape, or form. So you have to get better some way, shape, or form. You have to get more reps. You have to do more sets. You have to lift more weights. You have to maybe increase your time under tension, decrease your rest time, do more challenging variations of exercises. There has to be some progression, some way, shape, or form. Otherwise, your body's not going to change and you're not going to build muscle. People that start off strength training, if they've never lifted a weight in their life, that first couple months, they're going to build muscle and strength like no other. It's that newbie gain type of thing. Once you kind of get past that, you have to get a little more creative with your training. And if you're not constantly coming in the gym and placing new stimulus on your body that your body's not used to, everything's just going to stay the same. So I really challenge you to try and keep track of your weights, your sets, your reps, your exercises, and try to get better. It's not going to be 5 pounds every single time you go to the gym. You're not going to be able to lift 5 extra pounds. Otherwise, you'd be freaking curling 100-pound dumbbells. That's not going to happen. But there has to be some progression, some way, shape, or form. And that's what's really going to change your body and change your body composition overall.
Yeah, I think it's really important to establish your goals as far as, am I coming into the gym to build muscle, build strength, or am I coming into here to maintain, or am I coming in here just to be more functional, move better, feel better? I have clients of all different types of ranges. Maybe it's even just mobility and you're getting older and you just want to be able to do those functional movements in day-to-day life. But as far as coming up with a plan and being consistent with it, that is the only way that you're gonna see the progress, you're gonna see the results. So I think the biggest tip here with the strength training is following that program, following that plan to a T. Obviously, there's gonna be days where you travel, you have days where you're maybe under the weather and you need to tear back a little bit. But if you're one of those people that's searching IG or, looking for the newest workout every single time you go into the gym, it's not the way we're going to get results. Write down your program, follow a strict weight progressive overload program, and that's going to give you the best results.
Yeah, and, we have time. Today's we're recording this on the 11th of April. You guys will be watching it a couple days later, but we have time. I mean, summer, we're still a little ways out. If you have some awesome goals and body composition, fat loss, or even building muscle goals, we'd love to help you and create structure. Obviously, we own a gym here in Nebraska where we do one-on-one training, group training, and nutrition coaching, but we do also offer online training. So if that is something that you're interested in and you're looking for a program to take out the guesswork, we would love to help you. I'll also leave our link to our online training form down in the description below. You can click on that link, fill out the form, and we can set up time to chat more and go in depth on what you're currently doing and tell you how we can help you. Because at the end of the day, that's really why we create content, is to help people. We love fitness. We have had a lot of different experiences with different types of fitness, and that's just really why we do what we do. We help people every day here at the gym. All the content that we're putting out on Instagram, on YouTube, on this podcast, we're really looking to just help more people. So if that sounds like you, we would love to help you out.
Yeah, for sure. And to kind of wrap this all up, you know, the biggest thing here that we're trying to, dial down in our nutrition, dial down in our strength training, and being consistent with these things. And you're really going to see the best results. And I promise you, give it time. It doesn't happen in a month, it doesn't happen in a week. You got to be consistent and you really got to be disciplined with yourself too.
Yeah, the consistency quotient is so important. The people that see the best results are the people that have a plan and are the people that show up. They want to work hard. They want to get better. They want to learn. If create the plan and you execute the plan, you're going to see the results. There's no question about it. If you kind of go through the motions, you're not trying to get better, you're not consistently tracking, you are always looking for the newest, coolest exercise, you're not following like a structured workout program, you're not going to see progress. You're going to spin your wheels and you're going to get really frustrated. So the program and sticking to it and being consistent is so, so important. And if you do that, you're going to see results. There's no question about it. It's just, can you stay consistent? Can you stay accountable? And can you stick to a program? And if so, you're going to see awesome results.
Yeah, keep it basic, keep it simple, and you'll be ready in no time.
Yeah. So we hope this podcast helped you guys. If you guys have questions, just let us know in the comments. We'd love to help you out any way that we can. And like I said, we have a free macro calculation, a good place to start. The link to that is down in the comments as well. And then also, if you're looking for a plan, you're ready to take out the guesswork, get some structure in your workouts and your nutrition, the link to our online training form is also down in the description below. You can fill out that form and we'd love to help you out. So thanks for tuning in today, guys, and we'll see you guys in the next one.